Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have cut their roster down to 85 players. Today, August 17th, was the deadline, and the Buccaneers have made the appropriate moves. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy kind of these quick newsy type videos, and leave your thoughts about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster cuts down in the comments section down below. But I will say it's been very interesting to pay attention to all the different types of roster cuts that teams have been making. Josh Rosen, former quarterback here on the practice squad for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just got cut by the San Francisco 49ers. The Jacksonville Jaguars just cut Tim Tebow today. Alfred Morris got released by the New York Giants. And I know, like, in today, 2021, those names, don't exactly bring up the greatest sparks of hope or things along those lines, but I still like a lot of those players. They are still notable names from recent years' memories, so it's still an interesting thing to take note of there. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have whittled down their roster. They were at 90, now down to 85. We've already talked about 3 players who were cut, them being Daquan Hampton, Cameron Kinley, and Josh Pearson. And the final 2 players who were released here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get down to 85 players on this roster were wide receiver John Franklin and guard/center DONELL Stanley. I believe both of them were waived with an injury designation. Both those guys still counted towards roster spots, so it is interesting to see what's going to happen with them. Let's first talk about John Franklin. Quite frankly, but to be honest, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities here because he's been on the PUP list for the entirety of training camp. I believe he was getting some work in for mandatory mini camp and a couple of other off-season activities, but again, for training camp, he has not been there. He has been hurt the entire time, and I know he's been on the team for at least 1 or 2 years now. I know a lot of people, myself included, definitely liked his versatility, what he could bring. Bruce Arians as well. I remember there was one game, I believe it was against the Houston Texans, where Bruce Arians said, hey, we had John Franklin being Deshaun Watson out there because of his versatility to, maybe play a little bit of a scrambling quarterback. Who knows? And I know that got a lot of people's attention, myself included. It was a really exciting prospect to see what was going to happen with John Franklin. It's kind of like a gadget player, kind of like a Taysom Hill with the New Orleans Saints for the Buccaneers offense, but the best ability is availability, and I know that injuries are out of, John Franklin's control, but if you're not there, you're not going to be able to show the team what you're able to do, so that one isn't too surprising. I do honestly expect John Franklin to revert to the injured reserve, and I wish him nothing but speedy recoveries and the best with whatever opportunities present themselves down the line for John Franklin. Now, DONELL Stanley, that one is also kind of an interesting situation. I imagine that this means he isn't, ready to come back from his injury anytime soon. He was also waived with, I believe, an injury designation. If I'm wrong, you can let me know down in the comment section down below. But I also probably expect him to revert to the injured reserve, which is a darn shame because DONELL Stanley, I thought, was actually having a pretty decent training camp. I definitely thought he was in, a pretty decent competition for one of those backup guard spots. I don't think he was going to beat out Robert Hainsey, of course, for a backup center job, but I definitely thought he had a chance to be a potential backup guard for this team. But if he goes to the injured reserve, we'll see what happens there. Maybe they can stash him away on the injured reserve as a possibility and bring him in on a futures contract after the end of the year. Who knows? But again, it's another unfortunate situation. A guy who was having a pretty decent camp suffered an injury and is now having to go to the IR because of it. Again, with nothing but a speedy recovery for DONELL Stanley and the most for future opportunities when they do present themselves. But yeah, guys, that's it. These are the 5 players who have been cut now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster to get down to 85. You had Cameron Kinley, Daquan Hampton, Josh Pearson, DONELL Stanley, and John Franklin. I would say I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to maybe add another offensive lineman, but they already did add an offensive tackle, young developmental offensive tackle. So we'll see what other potential roster moves they make. I think it might honestly be set in stone with these 85 guys until they have to make their next wave of roster cuts coming up, I believe, on the 24th. So What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section down below. Are you surprised by any of these roster cuts that have been made? What do you think the futures of these players may be? Give me all your thoughts about that down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Now we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.